Hello, beautiful friends. Thank you for being here, as always. Really grateful to be sharing this message. I think this is going to be a very powerful transmission because a lot has happened since the last video. So I'm just going to try to flow and be as clear as vessel as I can for this love to come out. So I hope you all are well. Happy New Year, happy 2022. I'm really excited for this year. You know, every year is always the best year, so I feel this will be no different. You know, once you awaken and make that your intention. So, let's see. I think I'm going to start just by going into what I've been experiencing and then just flow from there. So, the solstice was really beautiful and powerful. And right after, I actually got sick with the Rona, the vid, or whatever you want to call it. So you can probably still kind of hear it in my voice. And that really, knocked me on my ass, to be honest. Not so much physically even, as much as just mentally and emotionally and spiritually. But it was all part of, this experience. I would even call it divine intervention, that I really needed to have. If you've been sick, I know, and what's interesting is I know a lot of people are going through this right now, so maybe this will be very relatable, or maybe you already went through this, or maybe you will go through this, I don't know. I just feel really called to share this and just be as open and honest and authentic as possible without holding back at all, what I experienced, because I think it's just so important we start to share this stuff, because there's so much, people have so much fear and shame in talking about these kinds of things, but I think it's just really important that we be honest about what we're going through. Nobody's perfect. The people who act like they're perfect and that they have no problems or no shadow, nothing they're working through, are the people that usually are the most absolutely repressed, obviously. So I think it's really important to I'm just going to be really open and honest about all the things I've been going through, because it's relatable, in this human journey, especially what we're doing right now. So yeah, that something about, I haven't been sick in a long time, so something about being so sick and having such little energy really brought me to this state where I guess I could just hear more than ever, like my higher self just like screaming at me, and all of these shadows, that, I don't know, I guess things that I've been dealing with, those patterns that you deal with, your whole life, getting to like deeper and deeper, it's like an onion, getting to these really deep points in these patterns. And, it's like my ego or, my personality thinks that, it's fine, I'll work on that later, or, whatever. No, these things were screaming in my face, screaming in my ear. And for me, a lot of these things come down to self-worth, wounds kind of thing. So it's just so crazy. It's so crazy because I'm just gonna be fully honest. It's like I thought I was so free, and maybe I am very free compared to a lot of people, because that's the norm in this place right now, is that we just live and we're just drenched in fear and shame, and that's just the norm. So maybe I am a little bit more free in that regard, but I'm telling you, what I experienced, I saw that I have not been free, you guys. It's just like, I have literally been a slave. That's how I feel. And I was able to see this like crystal clear, and it was really raw and painful, again, just being honest. Just a total like hostage to these thoughts, like to these fears, to these paradigms of unworthiness. And this is deep, because the stuff that I was feeling goes beyond this life. It really does. It does pattern in my childhood, and we all have that childhood trauma that is very specifically designed, and aligned with our what people call karma. Tapping into things from many past lives, my ancestors, just the collective of humanity. And this is really where it gets deep, because it's just so meaningful. It's so important to have these kinds of experiences, because it's so humbling, and it allows you to be free. Like I was saying before, it's like I haven't even been free. Like I feel so free now, and I'm gonna get more in depth into my experience. But I feel so free now that when I look back, literally just a couple weeks ago, I'm like, I was not free. And it's so hard to put this into words, but I can't explain to you how much of a hostage I have been to like these really, these just really painful ideas and thoughts of who I'm supposed to be, of, how I'm supposed to sound, how I'm supposed to look, to be lovable, to be successful, to be free. All of these illusions, false paradigms, literally sucking the soul out of me is how I feel. And a lot of this was unconscious. I couldn't even see it until, I got sick, and it was like screaming in my ear. That's just like how I felt, and this is something that for the most part isn't even nefarious. It's literally just my shadow. It's just something that I need to heal. Are there negative entities that feed off of that and egg that on? Definitely. I felt that too. But really, with the core, it was just me. I hope this is making sense. I really just have to flow with this. It's very hard to put into words. But I think it's very relatable, because it was part of my indoctrination. This is part of my, indoctrination on earth that is being revealed to me and being healed at a very deep level. Just, again, a slave to, I want to say false idols. This is just how it was revealed to me, and not to even sound biblical, because it's true, and it's not like false idols, like, I don't worship Baal or like anything of that nature. It's false idols as in these ideas. It's false idols as in, and a lot of this is not even conscious for me, but really subconsciously, like worshiping these ideas of, like who I think I need to be. And, I need to, again, like sound a certain way or look a certain way or do these certain things, these illusions, thinking I need to do these false things to be good enough and to be lovable. And all of it is an illusion, and all of it has been keeping me hostage from just being who I am and recognizing that I am lovable now. And that's what I mean by false idols, is because I'm still in these ways. That's the trap of the material world. Again, this is my indoctrination. I'm just being honest with you guys, of these false idols of things externally that I think I still need to be who I am, to be lovable, to be, because obviously I'm awake enough to where being aligned with my purpose is really important to me. But it's like, again, looking for love in all the wrong places. That's to me what really is meant right now by false idols. Not looking to the one true living God within that already loves me as I am, without any filter, without any need for any of these material ideas of love or perfection or beauty or worthiness. I already am worthy, and we are all worthy. And this is what it means to not have false idols, is to love yourself as you are right now, without any condition. And, for some people, maybe that's not your wound and that's easy to do. But for me, that has not been easy to do. This has been really, really, really hard. And it's taken me this far just to get to this point. But it was just like the blinders were just ripped off, and I could just hear and see very clearly all of these ways that I've literally been basically torturing myself, trying to live up to these impossible standards that are literally impossible, because even if I were to reach them, they would just move, and so it's just this insanity. And again, it's this indoctrination of never being good enough, when the living God within, the one true God that we all have within, that is always with us, literally loves us unconditionally as we are. So that's what is really the most freeing thing for me right now, is for the first time in my life, I'm finally able to really, truly see that and accept that, and just allow myself to be who I am with myself. I hope this makes sense, because I want to go even deeper into this as far as the collective, because I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. And just being able to see it is such a blessing. I seriously have been thanking God so deeply from the core of my being ever since I've been able to see this, because it's like I'm finally more free than I've ever been. Because it's like, now that I've truly been able to see that and understand this with these revelations, again, I'm more free than I've ever been. It's like all these thoughts and illusions and indoctrinations of all these ideas that I think I have to do, it's like they literally just melted away. It's really profound. It's really strange. But I want to go deep into this unworthiness, because again, this is very relatable for a lot of people, if not really everyone. Maybe some more than others. I know that, again, we all have our own wounds. We all have our own karma. We all have our own thing. But I know a lot of people, have this unworthiness, and a lot of it is unconscious. And as I was feeling this deep pain, again, and this is stuff that goes beyond my life, like I know that in every fiber of my being. And I started remembering, so many things, like human beings, that's really a big part of the indoctrination is the shame and the guilt and the not feeling worthy. It's that deep sacral chakra, just dense pain that is so hard to look at that many people would rather kill themselves, and many people have killed themselves when confronted with this energy. There's so many things to talk about when it comes to this. And that's the thing and that's another really painful aspect of this, is as I was feeling this, I was able to just somehow perceive that how many people carried this. And this is literally something that it's like people are suicidal, even if they don't know it. It's like, this is literally, it's that deep, it's that buried, that it's so painful that, again, that was just like the feeling I was getting about it. And I'm not trying to be crude, but this is real. Like, this is how real this is how much reverence and love and honor and respect I have for humanity and for life, when you understand how much pain there is. And going back into, again, this isn't just this lifetime, and this is all connected. And even if this isn't exactly your wound, if you don't have unworthiness, whatever it is, it's so deep. There's a reason that we're here to deal with this and see these wounds and purify these wounds. That's our real work. That's our real work. It's not about having a job or having money or having relationships. That's great and that's part of it, but from what I see, really at the core, those of us who are literally here to assist humanity, we're here to work through these deep traumas. And if you know anything about human history, even what we know about human history, about stuff that goes even deeper, that, has been hidden from us, the amount of pain and torture and just terrible things, the worst possible things you could imagine have happened to someone on Earth. Probably, most likely, really, really painful, dark things. And if you're here in a human vessel, obviously you incarnated into a line of ancestry that somehow managed to make it in this fucking jungle. Because many of us have past lives where, yeah, we were killed for speaking the truth. You get crucified for that kind of thing, for using your voice, for speaking the truth, for just having an awareness. Many people have physically died in our past, in our history, past thousands of years, for such things. But if you're incarnated, you're in a family line that somehow, again, managed to make it managed to survive through the paradigms of deception and just like, you know, having to basically being forced to go along with a lot of really terrible things just to survive, just to stay alive and just to keep your family alive. You know, we know this. It's been many generations of this. You know, especially think back like hundreds of years ago, or like the medieval ages, and like, you know, really, really wild stuff that went on, you know, and that's in our DNA. It's in our, again, if you're incarnated in a body, you're watching this, that's in your DNA. It's not who you are, but it's a part of you, you know, and you can feel these things will come up to literally be healed. So the reason I say that is because, again, we all come from in that line physically. We all have this what people call ancestral trauma, but it's really just in the collective, you know, however you want to frame it, however you want to see it. It doesn't just go away. It literally has to be transformed. It literally has to be seen and honored and loved and purified through our living being. That's what we do. That's why we're really here. That's what I'm saying. In our DNA, again, we all have our own unique trauma, but is all of those ancestors, again, that literally had to shut the fuck up just to survive, that couldn't speak their truth, that couldn't live their truth, that couldn't practice their true spirituality openly to survive, and many, many other things. You know, again, you can find, you know, your own history within you, within your cells, within your DNA, within your Akashic records. You know, and that's part of the journey is remembering, you know, finding these memories that reveal to you more about your soul's journey and about who you are and about why you're here. So I just want to really make a big point of that because, gosh, this stuff is deep. You know, we're really getting into this deep, deep pain. And I feel like, you know, this year and going forward, it's like more and more, we are not able to hide from this anymore. And again, that's just what comes out from my soul is like, this is the real work and this is the real important stuff. You know, because it can be so easy to get sucked into all these frivolous material things for all of us, you know. And that's part of the mystery school of earth. That's part of, I want to say the trap, but that's just part of the nature of this reality and there's nothing wrong. And that's the thing to remember is there's nothing wrong with, you know, having a career or having a house or having any of these things. You know, there's nothing wrong with this material, having these material things. It's just, you have to understand that it's all secondary. You know, it's not why we're here. And I say this, and again, this is all just my experience. I'm just sharing it honestly, rawly, authentically. I'm not going to hold back at all anymore. I cannot hold back at all anymore for my own sake and for yours. So take what resonates, and of course, that should go without saying anymore, but, you know, I just have to share my story completely raw. That's what's really important. And that's what's been revealed to me brutally, but I'm so thankful because I literally feel free. And as cliche as it sounds, because I'm not religious at all, but I feel saved. That's what it feels like. It's like, I don't even feel like the same person anymore because I was able to see these illusions, indoctrination that I've carried around my whole entire lifetime and beyond. It's like, finally, I'm able to break free from these illusions. And I hold this in honor and reverence because it's like the shadow. Seeing your shadow is the only way to break free out of here. You know, my beautiful friend Amy just said that in the most profound way to me. Is, again, the shadow is like the only way out. Facing your shadow, facing this trauma, facing the pain, it's literally the only way to get free here. So there's nothing wrong with it. There's no shame. It's not who you are. It does not define you, but it is a part of your experience here, and it's here for a specific reason. You know, all of the trauma you have is here to teach you very specific lessons that you would never have had without it. Earth is a mystery school. Every day is a lesson. Every day is a test. You know, and that's the truth. That's the truth. So all this material stuff, it's always been like this, but especially now, during this specific time, you know, what we're going through on earth, especially if you're watching this and you understand who you are, that you're here on, you know, you're here for a reason, you know, you're not just here to experience the material world. I mean, that's great. Again, nothing wrong with that. But that's completely secondary now, because I know in my heart, I'm here, you know, to assist humanity. I'm here to learn my own lessons, and I'm here to evolve as a soul. And part of how we do that is we, you know, assist humanity. And it doesn't look how you think it looks. You know, it's not so much about even doing these material things. You know, it can manifest in that way, but ultimately it's coming within and healing these wounds and seeing these wounds, and especially coming together and sharing this openly without shame, because we all have this and we're all working through this. You know, that's genuinely how I feel. I feel it's a very brave thing, because we live in this, again, this insane reality and culture where everyone just acts like their life is perfect and everything's perfect. And I think that's so insidious. Like, it's, you know, especially with social media, it seems harmless, but really it's so false that I think we really have to get away from that, you know. And again, you know, not saying that everything is terrible. You know, it's good to share your joy. You know, that's why we're here, is to share your real joy, you know, your love, your success. It's just, again, coming back to who we really are. So the material world is secondary. The real, true, living God within us is primary. And as far as I'm concerned, anything else, to put anything else before that is false idols. And it has nothing to do with, you know, guilt or shame or like, you know, you're going to go to hell. It's, I mean, you will be in hell, you know, metaphorically when you do that, because you're not honoring who you really are, the living God that is within you, that loves you as you are right now. Not, you know, if you lose some weight, or not if you, you know, get all this success, not if you, you know, make $1 million, you know, all of these crazy limitations. And there's so many different examples. You know, we all have these conditions that we think we need to be lovable or to be whatever. And it's all a freaking illusion. You know, remind yourself that every day. It's literally such an illusion, and it will hold you hostage to an impossible standard that you will never be free until you come back within to the one. This is just how the words come to me. It's hard to put this into words, but it's the one true living God within you. We all have this. It's literally always here, and it's literally always abundant, and its presence is subtle but powerful, and it's literally 100% always eternally overflowing within you. But if you're all up in your mind and you're thinking that you need all these things to be lovable, then you're going to miss it. And you're going to starve yourself of this love. You're going to be in this desperation. Trust me, I know. I know how it is. You're going to never feel good enough. And that is really, really sad. That is the indoctrination that we've been put upon on this planet, because that's what keeps us weak. That's what keeps us from discovering who we really are. Eternal, unconditionally loved, as we are now. You don't need anything else. Right now, in this very second, whatever you're going through, however you're thinking, however you're feeling, the God within you is loving you and adoring you. And this is, you know, this is that force that wants nothing more than your attention and your recognition and your celebration, which segues right into my next point, which is one of the greatest revelations I've had too. And it's so simple, but it's so important. You don't want to miss it. In my experience now, to truly be awake, what does that mean? To truly be awake is to be in every single moment. And this is not easy. This is the work. This is the work that I'm tasked with as a foundation right now. And I thought I was already doing this, but I was not. I was deceiving myself. To truly be awake is to be completely, again, awake, aware of the God, the living God within you in every single moment. And to praise this love every single moment that's within you. It's not material. It doesn't matter. Whatever's going on in the material world does not matter. You could have no money, no success, no relationship, nothing. You could have nothing materially in the physical world externally, and you could have everything within. And when you're able to praise and celebrate and honor this love, that's what the living God within you is, unconditional love. It's who you are. It's your source. It's your direct link to the highest and the holiest totality of everything. There's no words for it, but please feel what I'm saying. That's what's within you. It has nothing to do with the material world. The reverence, when you're able to walk every day, every hour, every second, awake, truly awake, in reverence for the God within, in celebration for the love that is within, regardless of what's going on outside of you, that's being awake. You know, that's what I see and understand as being truly awake. And it's not easy because we're surrounded by these distractions. And that's part of the matrix, that's part of the false inverted template, is, again, to put it all outside of you. Because that's how they enslave you. That's how they enslave us, you know, beings that were literally made in God's image. It's deception. Because when you're able to come into and be awake to the infinite, you know, I say God, it's love. It's the source. There's no words for it, but you know what I mean if you're here and you're still listening to what I'm saying. When you're able to be awake and remind yourself, you know, every moment, it's so easy to dream. It's so easy to fall into a dream. It's so easy to fall into sleep. But you know, this is in my life right now, this is like my one job. This is the one real job I have, is to stay awake in each moment. And, you know, I don't beat myself up. It's not about guilt or shame. You know, it's not about that. But it's about, you know, coming back into who we really are. You know, I want to say evolution, but really it's more like just coming back home again. When you're able to hold that reverence, you know, and I haven't even got there, at least not as an adult, maybe as a child, but, you know, I'm working out all my indoctrination. But when you're able to, you know, already as I'm, you know, walking this path of holding this reverence every single second, because this is the download, as they say, this is the revelation. That's actually the organic human template, is to be in constant praise for God, to be in constant praise for love, to be in constant praise for life, with every breath, with every song, with every word, with every bite of food, with every drink of water, with everything you do. That's the natural way of the divine being, is to constantly be in reverence for the God, the living God within, that's always here. Because that's who you are. That's your power. That's your direct link to the truth. And it's a very freeing way of life. And that's, again, what it means to not have false idols. Again, false idols not being necessarily people or beings, but being ideas, being these false, you know, false perceptions of, you know, I need to serve this thing, or I need to, you know, I need to do this to be lovable, or I need to do that, or I have to do that. A lot of this is unconscious. We hold ourselves hostage in these ideas. Oh, I need to, you know, do this to be, again, you know, it's hard to think of examples, but surely you know what I mean. And it's all an illusion. It's all frivolous bullshit. None of it matters, you know. None of it matters at all. Literally doesn't matter at all. Again, it's not inherently wrong once it's secondary, but if you make that primary, that's your false idol. Because you're like splitting off who you really are for an external illusion of, oh, I need to be beautiful. Oh, I need to be successful. Oh, I need to be rich. Or like, it could be anything. It doesn't have, I'm just thinking of like really general things that are we're very susceptible to. It could be anything, you know, and you got to be honest with yourself if you have any of these. Again, I really want to call these false idols, because that's what it is. When you're serving something that literally doesn't fucking matter, you know, when you should be serving the God within. That's the only thing you should really be serving. Because this is the thing, this is the kingdom within that gives you everything you need. Everything you need. Everything that really is important. And when you start to live this way, you know, like I said, as I've been, you know, starting to walk this path, feeling like a totally new person, you know, being honest with myself completely about the way I've been living my life. But when you start to walk this path, you start to have this gratitude, you know, this gratitude that I've been missing, you know, I feel consistently, you know, again, walking that true divine template of of having, again, love and praise and celebration for the living God within in each moment. You know, that's the real devotion. That's the whole reason we're here. That's the truth. That's the infinite love. That's what you're really hungry for. That's what you really need. That's what you really want. It's not all this external bullshit. And when you start to live like that, it literally changes your whole life because you feel this gratitude and this love unconditionally. It's so freeing. It's the best thing ever. You know, it's so transformational and it's so purifying. And that's all I want to do right now is just purify, you know, purify everything in my life. And that's what, you know, as I have this reverence, as I have this love, as I have this praise for, again, the living God within, to purify my life, to purify my music, to purify my thoughts, to purify my heart, to purify my relationships, purify everything. You have this gratitude and this honor for every single thing in your life. And this is what it means to be awake, again, is to everything you do. You know, I think we have this such ingratitude. Most of us have such ingratitude for the things in our life. But when you come back to what I'm talking about here, the true reason, the truth, the living God within, not what's outside of you, but what's inside of you, you start, again, to just see the beauty in everything, like unlike anything before. This has been my experience just the past really few days. Feeling literally like a whole new person. I'm so grateful. Every cup of coffee, you know, everything I do in my day, you know, I'm able to have this higher level of honor and reverence for. And I hope this makes sense because it's really hard to put into words, but it literally changes your whole reality. And that's why I say that this is the natural or like organic human template for it to be divine, is to have as a foundation every single moment the reverence and praise of God, of love, of life within you. That's just the foundation of being awake as a divine being. That's just what was revealed to me every single moment. And that's what I meant to say before, because when you live like that, everything changes. You don't take anything for granted anymore. You hold everything in reverence and gratitude. You know, that cup of tea in the morning, or your toothbrush that keeps your teeth clean, or the blankets that keep you warm at night. You know, your relationships, just simple little things. Every single breath, every single word you speak. It all becomes a celebration for God, for life, for love. And that's transformational. That's purifying. Because again, just to conclude this point, when you don't do that, you're lost in the matrix. You're lost in the inverted material world that will never satisfy you and will constantly actually keep you hostage from the truth. And it doesn't feel good. It feels so good to come back into who you really are. So I hope this is helpful. It's very deep. It's very hard to put into words. I've been really sitting with this, and I felt like now was the time to share. You know, I'm so grateful for this, you know, and feels so good. It feels so good. So I think that's really all for right now. I'll keep this kind of short. There's so much more to come. But I love you all so, so, so much. And you all deserve, this high love within you. It's all within you, you know. And we're really here to assist each other as well. That's why I share these messages, to remind each other. And that's why that authenticity is so important. It's because literally nobody is perfect. And I'm honestly disgusted by that. Anyway, I'm just disgusted by that anymore. All of this deception and illusion, like everything's fine, like everything's perfect, like we all got this figured out, because obviously we don't, and we have a lot of work to do. And one more thing I'll say, because I know this is relatable, is, one of my greatest spirit guides has always been Jesus. And especially now more than ever, has Jesus been helping me so much. So if that resonates with you, call upon Jesus, the Christ consciousness, because that is the force that literally comes into you and will help you so much to kick out all this bullshit. Seriously. Seriously, that's why so many people love Jesus. It's beyond religion. I'm not religious at all. It's not about even a religion, but it's just the reality of that ascended mastery of Jesus Christ. Seriously, is here to help us so much come back to the one true living God within. We are so powerful. We are so powerful. We are so loved. We literally have every single thing we need. We don't need anything outside of ourselves. That whole external experience is secondary. What we have within, that's why they don't want us to know. That's why we're indoctrinated and programmed to forget. And now it's time to remember. The universe isn't hasty, but for the sake of the message of what I'm feeling, it's like, in this upcoming year and upcoming times, there's no more time to fuck around. Like, we have to start, that's just the message I get, is really there's like this pressure to heal, to be honest with ourselves and with each other. Because when I'm able to be honest about my shadow, I think it inspires other people to be honest about theirs. Because again, nobody is perfect. And that's the divine paradox, is that we are all perfect. We are all unconditionally loved. We are already perfect as we are now. And at the same, simultaneously, we all have a burden to carry. We all have a shadow. But the shadow isn't something for you to feel guilty or embarrassed about at all. I wouldn't shame anyone about their shadow. It's not about that. The shadow is, again, the only way that you can get free. When you confront that shadow, when you face that shadow, it's beautiful. It's so divine, and it's so perfect. So I'm just going to leave it there for now. That was a lot of information, and that's all that really wants to come out from my heart. Again, I hope this is helpful. I hope this is clear. I love you all so, so much. Thank you for being here on this journey and this time. Literally, we're going to have the best year ever for sure. We're going to be really, really empowered despite all the chaos. This is why we're here. There's so many of us. People call us light workers, whatever you want to call it. If you understand how many of us are on this earth right now, you'd be like blown away. We're going to rock it, Especially as we come into these deep levels of truly being awake and aware and loving for ourselves and for others, and understand, like, with humanity, like, people really are in so much pain. That's what I meant earlier when I was talking about just the pain people carry. I was able to feel that unworthiness. And most people, it's not even conscious. And that's the kind of that's the kind of dark, black, hopeless feelings that literally will scare the shit out of people from even being alive. And again, I only say that as to hold the reverence for what people are going through and understand that people are in pain. And what people need when they're in pain is love. People need love. That's the final message I'm going to say, because that's really, really important. People need love. Love, 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 love. We need love. Love is the force. Love is the God that is alive within. That really heals everything, if you understand what love really is. Not superficial love, the real force of love. And that's the message that literally was told to me very clearly. Is that people don't need any intellectual bullshit. People don't need all this stupid, this, people don't need all, like, you think that people need this intellectual bullshit or, like, this false illusion of, like, beauty or, like, you know, all of these things that we're taught and indoctrinated with. No. And there's nothing wrong with that stuff. But the thing is, it's frivolous. It doesn't matter. What people need is love. Love, 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 as they are now. Love and encouragement. People need love. Ask Jesus. Ask Jesus Christ. He'll tell you exactly the same thing. People need love. Love is that force. Okay, so thanks again so much. I love you all. Thanks for listening to me. It means the world to me to have this community and just to be able to express myself freely. And yes, God bless all of you. Thank you for being you. I love you as you are now. Peace.